Alright, what is this? Miss Shu made a Twitter post. She said, "You stupid incel gamer chuds don't understand. If it turns me on, it's good. If it turns you on, it's bad." Okay, what is this? Woof! This new design for Lara Croft is really jarring. I joke that she looks like those anti-woke Facetune photos of making game characters hot again, but I don't know if it's a joke anymore. What do you mean she's fighting for her life and has a thick set of falsies? Do you realize that, like... do you not realize that there's people who have thick eyelashes naturally? I know you might have that problem, but like, you know, some people don't. It's called genetics. It's not that deep, man. So, she made a post in September and said, "I'm about to buy Dark Souls Remastered and play the first game for the first time for no particular reason at all, and not specific for a specific character that probably shows up for like 1 second. No, not at all." So, I've seen plenty of things like this on my For You page, mostly women, by the way, being very, very upset that Lara Croft doesn't look like a hideous goblin straight from the swamp. Or a man, like the usual suspects. Very funny. I think they deserve to be mocked, so they understand their views are retarded. Rules for thee, but not for me, as I said. It's so hypocritical. I hate it. Oh no! She's not ugly! She must be anti-woke! Ugh, like, what is wrong with you? You yucky person, you! Ugh. So, more Game Awards drama. This is a lot of content, by the way, that came out of the Game Awards, jokes aside. Clay Obscure Expedition has won Game of the Year at the hashtag The Game Awards. Whoa! Olivia with a... Why do you... Watermelon emoji, by the way, does not mean what you think. It means Palestine. Just for the record, by the way. Yeah, just so we're not making the wrong thing. Hold on. Why did you have a watermelon? Hold on. Hear me out. It's a Palestine thing. Not what you think. Not what you think. However, congrats to the white person game. When will you learn? When will you learn, by the way? Seems kind of racist. Yeah, imagine if someone just said randomly, like, congrats to the black person game, or the Asian person game, or the Mexican person game. Do you hear yourself? Do you hear how retarded you sound? Please explain how a watermelon means Palestine. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. I'm not chronically online. It's some stupid, like, because they have the same colors as the Palestinian flag. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, why do we make this about race? Why can't you just say congrats? I don't get it. I don't understand. French people are aliens, not white. Everyone that's not French is literally shitting all over for them. They're like Giga Chess. They're like, yeah, I don't like this game because it's French, not because it has white people in it. Oh my god. Yeah, it's so tiring, man. Yeah, look, so Savvy found this. Howdy, I'm Olivia or Liv, whatever you want to choose, smiley face. I use she, they, it, and some Neopronouns. What the fuck is Neopronouns, chat? Am I insane? Am I the crazy one here? What is Neopronouns? Neopronouns are a category of new or non-standard third-person pronouns used in a language, typically in place of he, him, or she, her, or they, them. Example of neopronouns. No, it's the z, zem, zers themselves, and zers, zers themselves, and then fey, furs themselves, and then buns self, and star self. I'm so fucking tired, man. Look, you can make the argument and be like, I use he, him, she, her, they, them. Okay, fine, what the fuck ever. I don't care. I still think that's a red flag in my opinion, but you know, that's just my opinion. But Zzer You've got to take a break. She's beatboxing. Like, ugh. I cosplay stream, blah blah blah. Ask me stuff here. Okay. Anyway, I am so tired, man. Yup. Congrats. Congrats to the white person game. Guys, this game has a cast of like white characters, which is like completely unacceptable, and the devs are probably racist. And everyone who plays this game is racist. If you voted for this game, you're racist. Don't forget that. The game-winning Game of the Year is evidence that the vast majority of the gaming community is racist. Anyways, yeah, you're a retard. Opinion disregarded. Gaming is finally healing. People like this balding out on Twitter and getting thousands and thousands of upvotes or likes or whatever. And then we have Neopronouns and Caesars Mzelfs. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What about the Asian woman? So according to these people, Asian people are white adjacent. I don't think that, just for the record. But this is unironically what some people think. They think that Asian people are white adjacent. What? Yes, I know. Isn't that crazy? Congrats to the white adjacent. Yes! I hate that. It's really silly. It's ridiculous. It's good content for laughing at people and thinking that they have like a lot of sway and voice about like what's acceptable and what's not, and thinking that it's not okay to like give this award to a game about people dying left and right, by the way. It's just, I don't know, man. People don't play video games. I swear, they just cry on Twitter and shit and piss themselves and want games to be catered to them, even though they don't play video games in the first place. Oi. Oi, oi, oi. No way! This is what won Game of the Year over Hollow Knight Silksong at the Game Awards. What are we talking about here? What? What's wrong with it? What? That's sick. It's... Ooh, parry, parry, parry. Ooh, big parry. Ooh, massive, huge. Sick. Counter parry. Ooh, big damn, big number. Alright, he buffed himself. Ooh, big parry. Ooh, massive. Gamer time. Ooh, big damn. I don't know, man. I mean, I know the quality of the video isn't that great, but like, it's sick, man. What do you mean this isn't Game of the Year? This is high quality. This is better than some Pokemon games, brother. Like, what are we talking about here? Fully fledged animations? Unique weapon animations? And parries? What are we talking about here? So, this person is malding out, apparently. It says, first gameplay clip I've seen outside of that Roblox Obi looking ass shit, and wow, it still looks fucking ugly. I can't believe UE5 Particle Vomit won art direction. By the way, again, no check mark, so that means that they're malding out for the love of the game. They actually unironically think this. Yeah. Yeah, they actually hate this for the love of the game. Malding for free? Yeah, this looks ugly. I don't know what to them is ugly. I don't know. I think that the new Pokemon game was pretty ugly because of all the... because of how lackluster the game itself is, the lighting, the clipping. Yeah, I don't know, man. What do you think should have won Game of the Year? So for Silksong, we know the Silksong has to. My game has to win. Win. Look, I like Silksong too. I do. I've seen people play it all the time, man. I haven't played it myself, but I still think it looks nice. It's got a great art direction, but at the end of the day, it's just a game award, man. Relax. Come on. Chill. It's not that deep. And again, just such a completely gutter IQ take. Like this is a common mental illness where people assume that anything using the UE5 engine or any other cutting edge graphics engine instantly means the game is going to be slop. There's absolutely corny uses of UE5 and engines that are like this and lazy uses of it, but to blanket every single game using it as ugly and lazy and bad by default, you're just a caveman. You are literally born in the wrong era. As Asmund says, you should be digging potatoes out of the ground in, like, you know, 1400 BC or whatever. You at the bare minimum should not have a Twitter account. Terrible take. Very low IQ. Exposition 33 is a beautiful game, and anybody with eyeballs can see that. I can guarantee most people forget what games actually win these awards in a few months. Yeah, I know. All the chronically online people, they'll stop caring. You can make a Silk song in UE5, by the way. I mean, that's not the point. That's not the point I'm trying to get at, but it's objectively a pretty game. You're just coping. You're molding and seething. Did we really need a whole segment about women in gaming? As far as I know, women have always been involved in game development. Why do they need a spotlight just for being a different gender? I actually have a really good point about this. Like, I've seen this one. This is a spicy one, and there's a couple of posts like this. So on one hand, I don't really care because they're kids. They handed the award to a bunch of kids. Like, and kid activities are almost always, like, gender segregated. Almost always. I think this is great. I'm sure the maid they made is great. Whatever. Like, I'm happy they get to do what makes them happy and be encouraged by a huge audience. Great. Awesome. However, there's a caveat. Everybody knows why this was featured on the Game Awards. We're just farming, like, good boy points about women in video games. This is to cater to that crowd, which is a mistake because that crowd is who has been ruining video games for the last 10 years. And let's be completely honest with ourselves here. Do we really need more female devs in gaming? How many group photos have we seen in the last, like, 5 years that I've, like, pulled up on stream, we've made jokes about? Have we seen of the dev teams of AAA studios? The 343 Bungie Halo dev team? The Activision Call of Duty dev team that made Black Ops? The newest one and the one before that? The Ubisoft Assassin's Creed dev team? All women? Or 70% women in every photo? Just an ungodly amount of DEI hires that have been torpedoing games across the board for a decade. Again, I don't have an issue with women making games. I have an issue with women being picked up to work on games in order to like meet a quota or check a box for a company. And then those women who then actually love that game and they don't really care for it that much and they just have a job, right? Like, they just do it because, you know, you need to get money on the table. Maybe they have to pay rent or whatever. I don't blame them. They don't actually really love that game that much and they want to change it and then they end up getting catered to until that game is unrecognizable. That's unironically what happened to Call of Duty. All these girls bitch and complain that gaming is a male-dominated space, and you're right, it absolutely is. It is a male-dominated space. And if you want to be included in it, you need to accept. Just please, just take this with a grain of salt. You need to accept the fact that not demand that you need to be included. And then you need to have that space change to accommodate you. I actually saw really recently and on my own time, the Sims game devs were actually really, it was almost a majority female. The guy that made The Sims, I forget his name, the guy that was like the main head, the game creator, his daughter was one of the main people that beta tested and play tested the game, and she actually made it more sim-like than he intended to. Initially, they wanted to be more of an architect-focused game, and then she gave him the idea, the daughter, to make it about the Sims, like the actual, you know, the humans inside of the game. And that's what made Sims popular. Like, yeah, obviously it's world building, neighborhood building, architecture, design, but that's initially what it was supposed to be. The fact that the Sims was like, the Sims was based on the desire for women to nest and play doll. And it's one of the most popular franchises in history. Like, let's put aside like EA's grubby, you know, nasty little hands getting into, you know, the actual game itself and like making it all about money. The game itself was wonderful. SimCity, Sims 1, 2, and 3, I think one of the best games ever. Yeah. But again, you don't have this problem 10 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago. People didn't really care about that. If you wanted to be a female game dev, people didn't care. Sims is just 3D Barbie there, instead we all love it. They didn't even know how much it would appeal to women, and apparently they looked at statistics back when Sims 1 first came out. They took a survey, and they said that a lot of women gamers that never played a video game before in their entire life, up until that point, 60% of them continued to be gamers that weren't just Sims gamers. They started being gamers for other games because they were like, oh, well, man, this is awesome. I didn't know that computer games were a thing. And then they continued on to play other games. I think that's awesome. I think there should be gateways to, like, you know, women getting into video games. They might not be into shooters or strategy games, but yeah, like, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, Sims was a gateway drug for women that never played video games before. So it's the Sims' fault? No, it's not. It's not the Sims' fault that we have a lot of game dev women, okay? That's not it. That's all I'm starting to get at. Anyway, there is another post. Oh my gosh. Look at this. The comments section of this post is depressing. The men posting awful comments don't realize that what they are saying is the very reason girls do not feel welcome to pursue careers in gaming. Initiatives like this are important to cover that. The games industry is so difficult to navigate, but a lot of women developers do succeed. People also forget not every game is for them, and that's okay. More diverse developers, whether gender, race, or class, means more diverse games or stories. For everyone who says, where are the initiatives for boys? There are a lot of initiatives for kids of both genders to learn code, art, music, and design, but it's not the boys being told they aren't welcome. It's not always easy being a woman in games. I like to think that I've not been treated any different for my gender, but the reality is, like, I likely have. I'm just choosing to ignore it and move forward. But we don't want special treatment. We want equal footing, but when you're throwing mud, we start off sunk a little bit deeper. I just don't think this is real. I don't think so. I went to college and I took male-dominated, what is it called? Well, not male-dominated, but it was very skewed towards male. I took physics, I took chemistry, I took an engineering class. I went to largely male-skewed classes, and I never felt unwelcome. If anything, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I got hit on a lot by boys and I got a lot of attention. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be weird or anything, but like, I feel like it's not that bad. I feel like this person is like, they're not welcome, and I'm like, what? Like, maybe you had one anecdotal experience? You were the only girl? I was not the only girl. I'm just saying, like, there was a lot of boys and they would give the girls a lot of attention. It's like they were scared of them. I don't know, man. It's just so weird. The one girl in computer science class, I did not take computer science, but yes. Yeah, I don't think they're crashing out, but like I just disagree. Again, people also forget not every game is for them. That is exactly right. I have to nitpick on this, and that's the fucking problem. And that's what you're refusing to understand. 95% of video games on the market, especially if they're by like AAA studios, were made for men and were popularized by being catered to men. Call of Duty, Halo. Like, yes, there were obviously girls that played that game. Obviously, absolutely. I totally am not gonna fucking deny that. There were absolutely girls that unironically liked the guns. They liked Halo. Whatever else. I liked Left 4 Dead when I was a kid, and that was I don't know, I didn't really know any other girls that played it a lot, but that is not the point. They weren't made for you. They weren't made for girls. They were made to appeal to boys. But that hasn't stopped the vast majority of these major titles with over a decade of history under their belt from bending over backwards to these fucking Karens to trying to appeal to like this demographic that is not interested in their fucking game and then changing it. I have zero problem with women making video games. Absolutely not. Zero problem with women making new games. The problem is you don't do that. You co-opt existing franchises and then shitify them and then to satisfy your stupid empathy. And then you cry about how nobody's buying your game and how everyone's an incel. And then to try and make the game more inclusive, it doesn't need to be fucking inclusive. It needs to tell you to fuck off and go home and make your own fucking game instead of ruining what we love or what people love. It's not that deep, man. When will you learn? Women have made my favorite anime? Yes, me too. I love Demon Slayer. Even though sometimes it's very obvious that it's made by a woman because every time a character has to die, they have to make an entire sequence of, you know, how the character is actually a good person. But anyway, that's besides the point. Yo, Acme, thank you for the 20 gifted. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, they ruined Star Wars. They ruined so many franchises. If guys are buying video games made mostly by guys, then if women make games and people don't buy them, shouldn't they complain about women not buying the games? Yes! But they don't. They always blame the core target audience of video games. Yeah, She-Hulk, that's another thing. It's like, I need to feel validated. I hate that so much, man. Oh yeah, Savvy was replying to this. Except we no longer need any gender programs and not highlighting boys too is really lame. It's incredibly insulting that women and girls still need to be told what AC jobs they can do. The best thing they could have done is do girls one and a boys one, but they don't. Again, I think that parading out the kids on stage without softening the blow is just so... I don't know, I think it's in poor taste. Like, you know they're probably gonna get attacked because it's like only exclusively for girls. Like, why can't you just put in like kids for games? They're all making games for kids and it's a bunch of boys and a bunch of little girls. Like, it's not, I don't think it would have been that bad. I think people would have loved that even more. I'm not saying they deserve to get shit on. I'm just saying you could have softened the blow. It's not like you're stupid and you don't know what you're doing. I mean, the kids are getting hate for no reason. Yeah, I think they probably got a lot of shit, man. Girls and women aren't stupid. They all do for virtue signaling. We've had access to an open market for 100 years and still women choose similar career fields. That's another thing. There are fields that are dominated by women. Like teachers and nurses and, what is it called? I can't fucking remember what the fucking word was. Teachers and nurses are the biggest one that I can think of. But anyway, there's a lot of HR. Yeah, a lot of women do HR. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of careers like that. And there's also the opposite where men go into the mines and work on oil rigs. You don't hear people saying like, we need initiatives for women to go out and break their backs and go underwater in sewers and work as garbage men. I'm just saying, man, like, you need to have a lot of upper body strength and a lot of stamina and endurance to be a garbage man, hanging on the back in the cold and the piss and the rain. Like, what are we talking about here? Yeah, obviously the women get tired more easily. They don't have as much muscle mass. Like, it all boils down to like desires and biological needs. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I never once needed an initiative to tell me I could be in the gaming industry, but it's people with your politics who try to keep me out because none of you approve of me, so spare me your fake outrage. Yeah, that's another thing. If you go against, like, whatever they say and say, like, oh, well, you know, we should have equality for men and women, it's like, oh, really? You're being a fucking pick-me. It's like, do you realize, like, original feminism was about equality and not just, like, pushing one gender and another? Yeah. Like, first wave feminism. This is, like, third or fourth wave. Anyway. You absolutely don't want equality. You like others like you who insist on the shit, want a replacement. You probably cheer on Kotaku articles when they say it's X year, studio still looks like this, and it's just a group of dudes who got together to make something. True. Not to mention all the women who have demanded existing IPs change for them, all the women placed in companies making shit choices, all the HR expansion. Women are the embarrassment right now in the industry. I'm ashamed of what's happened. Best thing you can do for girls today is push them towards blue-collar work, since we are never going to push for single income homes again. But you didn't want that kind of equality, even though that's where the jobs will be. Yeah. No, I don't want to be a plumber. I don't want to get my hands dirty. Ew, gross. I got my nails done yesterday. Yuck. Like, honestly, are we serious right now? She's not lying. She's spitting. Yeah, I pretty much reiterated this. She just tacked on the fact that people just don't care. They're like, oh, well, I need to take this job from these people because I have a vagina. I disagree completely with that. No, I disagree. I think feminism was originally about women's rights and having people, having women be able to work and vote. It was not about dominance. It really wasn't. Go back to look at first wave feminism. It was not about dominating men. It started with second. It started leaning towards second, and then third wave feminism really pushed it. They went way too far, in my opinion. And again, without feminism, I would not be able to work and stream today. So I'm not even an anti-feminist. It would be hypocritical for me to say that. Absolutely. If I said I hate feminism, it's always a joke, or I'm doing it for comedic effect. I don't actually hate feminism. I would not be able to work. Women used to not be able to get jobs, period. They had to sit at home and make babies and, you know, bake bread. It is what it is. Like, yeah. Yeah, it turned into female supremacy, and I think that's gross. If you're gonna argue and say, oh, it's all about equality, well then, yeah, send women to the oil fields and shit.
For you.